pottering about in his shed.
So it's Monday today. So as you saw in my last video, I managed to get out on the fat bike and even made myself a little cup of tea. I've just been having a bit of a move around. I went to the shop yesterday and found a few other little things. There's a few pictures I've discovered which were surplus to what's in the shop already. There's a picture there of that's a proper photograph of one of my Bigfoot frames. That was a race bike from 1992, I believe. I've also sold my bow tie frame, so this is going. Sort of mixed emotions. I do love this frame, but you can only ride so many, and it's very similar in geometry to other bikes that I've got. So if you're going to have lots of bikes, you want them to be different, really. So yeah, it's a lush frame. Anyway, I'm glad it's going to a good home. It's going to down in Dorset. So I expect to see it down there at some point on a video. But yeah, so I've got to get that either boxed up or possibly deliver it. We'll see. I may actually deliver it because we wouldn't mind going down to Dorset for a couple of days. So let's see how the week goes. The weather's been horrendous. We've had another storm, Hermania or something like that, or Hermania I think it was, which has been going through the country for 2 days. So that's been pretty lively. Flooded lots of areas in the south. And I have to find a new frame to go there. Actually, I might bring Mr. Rusty down and put it on the wall now, as soon as I've got some extra space. But I've got another design for a frame, so this may fund it once this is shipped. I was looking at doing some designs today, just some ideas. I've got 2 ideas that I'm throwing around. I can only do one of them. One was to do a pinion option, pinion gearbox. I've had one before and I wish I kept it, so that could be, I do a pinion version of this frame. Quite tempted, but I haven't got a rush, plenty of time. Right, one other thing I've got to do, and that's got to get this rim repaired. Well, at least take it somewhere and see if it can be repaired. It's actually, let me show you. There's a mark there where it's cracked. The lacquer. There's actually a mark because it's been dinged. So when it's got pressure on it from a tyre, it actually pushes this bit in a bit, so it is weak. But I rode it for ages like it, and it didn't leak or go down. But I have a feeling that crack there that delamination will get worse. So I'm going to get it. I've got somewhere to take it to fix it. So I need to take this wheel apart, and then I've got another. They're great rims, but delicate. They're designed for snow, let's be honest. They're not designed for rock gardens. So these weigh about 400 grams. And I was riding over a hill on a night ride, hit a rock, and sealant came pouring out of a crack in the rim. Well, it must be the other ones. They're really hard to find these. Oh, there it is. So it's there. Yeah, you can see it's delaminated. There's a big crack that goes right in. There. I can just about see it. So I may keep these for racing in, say, Fatbiking or something like that in the future. And then these, I think, I use these for bikepacking. These are great rims. It's just, I ran the tyre too soft, hit a rock, and it just slightly dinged it. Still usable, but you just have to be careful with carbon. It is a good way to save or to up the performance on a fat bike, to put carbon rims on, but you just have to bear in mind they are more delicate. These rims are 60mm, and they're double wall. So these are not the lightest rims. They're lighter. These are carbon, these are old. These are called Snow Dragons, I think, made by Nexty. And they've done me really well. Got them front and back. I've got no plans to take those off or do anything with them. Just keep them on there and keep running them. The favourite rim is DT710, that one. I'm talking fat bikes now, obviously. as you can imagine. But yeah, so anyway, I'll get these sorted out. We're just waiting for the nod to take these down, and I'll get them fixed. But I do need to take that wheel apart. Let's get the valve out. Just get the rubber ring, little rubber washer off. That's it. I see there's lots of new valve cores out now. I haven't tried any yet, but they're much bigger. So you take this silver core out, and I think Schwalbe do one now which has got a bigger bore, and you just push it into your old valves and it increases the flow of air, because the trouble with sealant is it tends to bung up a normal Presta valve, and then your air doesn't go in and out properly, and you can't sort of take tyre pressures and things like that properly. Right, let's get this. I hate doing this because it's it's not cheap doing all this tubeless taping. That's got to be done. Of course, the one good thing about carbon rims is they go tubeless much easier. The profile of the rim tends to be smoother, and the recess, the valley in the rim isn't as deep, so the tyre sort of hugs it when you pump it up. But rims are getting better anyway now when it comes to tubeless. Quite a few of the rims you just blow up with a normal pump now. Right, that's a bin job, unfortunately. Let's pop this bit of tape off as well. Let's give that a clean off. Yeah, Nexty rims are really good quality, I have to say. And they have offered to warranty this rim. The only reason I haven't done it is because of the time it takes. Because obviously you've got to ship it to China and then wait for it to come back again. So that's the downside. But if there's a company in the UK that will do it for not a lot of money, I haven't had a quote from them yet, but right, I just need the wheel jig. Just put the wheel in the wheel jig just to take it apart. Now this jig is a bit different to normal. Most of them, just take these out, would be like that, and then your wheel just slots in. But this is a Fatbike one, so it's got these that go on the top and expand, obviously make it wider. So this is for the widest setting. And then depending on the width of your hub, you change these around. There is a newer version of this which hasn't got all this paraphernalia. This one came out obviously previous to that one, so the other one's in the shop. But this will go in there then. So I just need an axle. And you just go around and take the spokes out. Normally when you're rebuilding a wheel or working on a wheel like this, or you've got to swap a rim, you just cut the spokes out because it just takes forever otherwise. But in this case, I'm going to reuse the spokes when I get the rim back. So there's just no point, it's just a waste. These will be fine. You always use DT Swiss spokes, double butted. I think these are like 264s or 266s in length. Actually no, they might be, no, they're different to that. This is a different rim. Might be 268. But yeah, there's more to building a wheel than just doing this. You have to know how to calculate your spoke length. There are various spoke calculating charts online which you can use. I'll put a couple of links. Well, I'll put a link to the one that I use, and you type in the hub and your rim, and sometimes on the calculator you'll have the rim and the hub listed already, so you don't need to measure anything. But if not, it's best to go to the manufacturer's site, get the details. You need the ERD of the rim, that's the effective rim diameter. ERD is you'll need for the rim, and then obviously you'll need all the measurements of the hub, which is the flange width, spoke hole diameter, stuff like that. So, but normally with Hope hubs, if you're using Hope hubs, Hope or DT, or if it's a well-known brand, you'll probably find it on the calculator, and then you just click the one you want, and it'll automatically put it in the chart. Then you click the number of spoke crossings. If you see these spokes, I'm not sure if you can see it, hang on, let me just show you. the most common for a mountain bike wheel is 3 cross. So you've got, I don't know if you can see, the spoke crosses there, there and there. So that's called 3 cross. 1, 2, 3, and then it's out to the rim. So that's, you have to put there because you can have 2 cross, 3 cross, 4 cross, or even no cross, which is called radial. I haven't got a radial. I used to have a radial wheel in here. They look quite funky. Just straight, no, don't cross at all. Gives you a very, very rigid ride, rigid feel to it because it's direct. With a crossed wheel like this, obviously it's a lot stronger, but it's also got flex, so it will give. If you ever see a wheel hit something or land sideways, you'll see it wobble. You'll be amazed how much your wheels flex, which is a good thing, because otherwise, if it don't flex, they break. So that's one of the things with carbon, is it doesn't give very much. These aren't too bad. Fat bike wheels are so thin, they do tend to bend, whereas a lot of enduro and stuff rims now are so hard that they either don't break or they just break, shatter. So there's no real give. So that's the downside of a carbon rim. The plus side obviously is the weight saving, which the rim and the tyre are where you want to save the weight if you want performance, because they're the things you have to get moving when you accelerate. So yeah, I'm probably going to build a very lightweight fat bike soon. That may have swung my way of thinking about this new frame. I've got I have thought about doing a fat version of Herbie as a cross-country fat bike, and that really is something to ride. That's really good. It would rival Herbie actually when it comes to speed, but you can run it rigid. We have built in the past a 9 kilo fat bike, fully built, rigid forks, and just choose your parts wisely. Don't go too light. There's a certain person I know, I won't mention, loves his lightweight kit, and entered a few races and things failed, and he didn't finish the race. So it's a bit of a gamble as to how light you want to go. It used to happen a lot when I raced cross country years and years and years ago. It was all about, when mountain biking first started, obviously the first bikes came along, and then racing. It was all about racing. When we used to ride mountain bikes, it was racing, that was it. There was nothing else really. There was a few people that did a bit of touring, but there was no bike packing, there was no, not like there is now anyway. So it was all about racing. So everybody was trying to get their bikes lighter and lighter and lighter, and then stuff like handlebars would break. People would be drilling chain rings. They used to drill everything, drill the rear mech, drill hole, everything, just to get it lighter and lighter and lighter. And then of course then things started to break then. Frames started to break. So I was sponsored by Mongoose. I think I mentioned this a couple of videos back, or maybe in the last video. I had a Mongoose amplifier, and I broke 2 or 3 frames in a season. Super light, very, very simple technology. It was the first frame to have 4-bar rear suspension. They are the people that invented it. And then Specialized bought it, and then they had the patent on it for quite a few years. Now it's available to everybody, I think. Right, let's just whip these nipples off here. That's my tool, that's it. And yeah, so that sort of transformed rear suspension when that came along. AMP Research was the company that sort of started it out, AMP Research, and then Mongoose bought or licensed the amplifier frames, Mongoose amplifiers then. Good old days, good days they were, when I raced cross country and downhill. That was the thing then, back in when we used to race national, this was national series, the national point series. Downhill and cross country were held at the same venue and the same weekend. You used to have downhill on the Saturday and cross country on the Sunday, so we used to do both. That's when I was 39, 40, used to race cross country. And I won the downhill national championships at Eastridge when I was 40 in the vets category. That was a day and a half, that was. I've got a picture of that as well somewhere. Yeah, never forget that. Never won anything really, all my life. I haven't really won a lot since, I don't think. But yeah, that weekend at Eastridge, winning the downhill, because the national champs is a one-off. You got the national series, overall series title, which I didn't win. I think that was won by Rich Vickery, because me and Rich, well, there's quite a few of us actually who used to, were always, it was a really good, brilliant time. There was sort of a bunch of us that is sort of the vet downhillers were sort of a group of really keen riders. There's loads of them still around. Oh, I can't remember the names now, but obviously me and Rich Vickery, good old Rich, love him, Tricky Dicky. Used to love getting his kit off, still does. And lovely guy. Yeah, me and him were sort of rivals, and I beat him in the champs. I remember being in the field when he came down and I beat him. I was jumping up and down like a little, I don't know what a moment that was to actually win something. Yeah, gold medal. I got a gold medal. It's quite something that. And I was at the time when I won actually that's a point. When I won that medal, I was riding for Keswick mountain bikes, and at the same time he was a Cannondale dealer, and this was when the new Cannondale downhill bike came out, the V4000, and I got one of the very first ones to come into the country. It turned up on Friday afternoon, and I was due to race on the Saturday morning. This was in the Lake District, so it turned up Friday afternoon. We built it. We pushed it to the top of what's called Dodd Woods, just outside Keswick, next to Skiddaw, if you know Skiddaw. There's a hill next to Skiddaw, and we used to have a downhill track that ran off there. And we pushed this bike all the way to the top. Took ages to push it up. Couldn't ride it. I rode it once down the hill, put it in a van, drove to Eastridge, and won the national champs the next day. That bike was amazing. It was perfect out the box. Gave you such inspiration. Anyway, I got my bike. This is when Tracy Mosley was racing for Cannondale, and I actually got my bike before she did, and she was the pro rider for Cannondale. So yeah, I managed, for some reason I got mine before she did. Great bike. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that year I raced at Cheddar. Used to call it the Cheddar Challenge, and there was a downhill. I think it was the Cheddar Challenge or just a round of the national points. But there was a downhill race at Cheddar, and I was there. Tracy was there with her bike, and I broke my bike or something happened in my first race run. So the second race run, Tracy lent me her bike, so I rode a small Cannondale, and I did, because we had 2 runs each day. Took it to the top, had no thoughts of doing very well. I put a time in obviously for the first run, which I thought was really, really good. Second run on Tracy's bike, I just moseyed down slowly, and I got knocked 5 seconds off my time and did really, really well. It just proves going slowly can be quicker. I wasn't even pushing. The secret of downhill, or the secret of rally driving and all kinds of things, is to be quick, steady all the way down, flow. I followed Tracy's brother Ed. Hang on, I've just got to check something before I go too far. I think these are the same length. Just make sure. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, they are. Yeah, Tracy had a brother called Ed Mosley, really good downhiller, and I used to go and practice with him over in Shropshire, or near Storridge actually, I think it was. Or it might have been Shropshire. Anyway, there was a big gap jump, and I've never been one for jumps. I was too old even when I started downhill, really. 35, I think, 36, when I started racing. And but I followed Ed all the way down this track, and I have never ridden so fast in all my life. Cleared everything. Just followed right behind him. So I've just dropped a spoke. Yeah, so yeah, followed Ed down. I can't believe how much quicker I went. Cleared everything. These big jumps, which even now I would struggle to do. But when you're following somebody, it's a lot easier. Great days. Great days. Love that Cannondale. It was fantastic. The travel, man, it had upside down front forks and single pivot swing arm. I'll find a picture, I'll put it up. And the travel on the front was 100 mil. This was a pro downhill bike. 100 mil on the back, on the front. So it had 4 inches on the front, 6 inches on the back. Pedal like a bitch. Used to pogo. But very, very, very well built. And it felt so confidence inspiring when you got on it, because nothing moved, nothing flexed. And you just threw it down stuff. Absolutely loved it. I did really well on that bike. Yeah. And had some good times racing cross country as well. I won my one and only cross country race. I was always sort of quite close to I was always getting podiums all the time in downhill and cross country. But the one and only cross country race was a Welsh Cycle Union race in Cody Brennan. This is before Cody Brennan had the cycle centre, which it's got now. And raced that, and I had a great tactic. I used to follow people. This is when I think I had the disc drive on. I used to follow people. So you had a really good start. Don't go flying off. Take your time and work your way through riders to get to the front. You used to try and get in the top 10 at the start, and then work your way through. Get to the front bunch and stick behind them. Stay with them. Don't pass them. And then you used to suss the track out. And if there was, luckily at Cody Brennan, there was a downhill finish, and I used to leave them all on the downs. So I just timed my last lap perfectly, overtook everybody on the top of before the downhill, and then just creamed into the finish. But the annoying thing was, because we were in the, I think it was vets category for cross country as well, there was a big crowd at the finish, and it was mixed categories as well. So other categories had finished, and the commentator and everybody were milling around these other people, and we just finished and no one said a word. No one said a word. So we finished with no mention on the PA or anything like that. But what I did notice from that day on was I got taken seriously by all the other cross-country riders. All of a sudden I was, oh, hi Graham, how you doing? Oh, Graham, how you doing? You know, because I won. So it's immediately you jump up the standings with everybody's thoughts of you and how you ride and stuff. So that was good. Great days. Cody Brennan, my one and only win. I'm not sure I've got a medal for it. May have somewhere, I don't know. Can't remember seeing it. But yeah, and I used to love, I love racing cross country because the downhill, I used to always love the downhills in cross country. So you time your riding and then kick ass on the downs. Great days, as I keep saying. Right, that's this taken apart. I just need to find that spoke I dropped in a minute. Give this a clean up and then check my emails to see when I can take this to be repaired. And hopefully it won't take too long and I can get it rebuilt. There's no rush. Right, let's put that with the other one. Somewhere over the rainbow. Actually, I might put the two over here. Swap that round. Keep them together. So these are the two repairs. And I know where they are. And that's the good one. Right, I think that'll do me for today. Well, it's evening now. What is the time? 20 to 8. Right, I think it's time to stop. Time to go and get a cup of tea. Right, catch you on another day. Oh, hi. So, today is Tuesday. Had a bit of an uneventful day today. I'm going to start thinking about going out bike packing again. Not just going to go just yet. I've got a few more rides to do before I get to that stage, but I'm going to start going through some of the kit I've got. There's a lot of it in here. So I know my tent's in here, which I need to get back out. Now I know I've got I might sound a bit stupid. Now I know I've got a future bike packing, I'm going to plan things a little differently. I definitely know I'm going to be doing things now, so it's quite a weird thing to say that, but before it was all a case of, well, I can do it this week, will I be able to do it next? Now I sort of know that whatever I can do now is only going to improve to an extent. Not going to go crazy, but I'm going to be able to. I've just done a little bit of weights now, just to keep things heading in the right direction. So I packed my tent back in its official wrapper. Let's just give you a better view. So I'm going to put this bag back. We're planning to walk the Cotswold Way at some point, which we will do this year, I hope. That's what this is all about. And then we can take BB with us. She's well up for it. She can walk 10 to 12 miles quite happily. Let's just get the bike out. I'm not going to load the bike yet, but I just want to get an idea of where I'm going to put things. Obviously this is the bike it's all going to go on. In my last video you may have seen me write on the screen, Graham, you need to oil that. You'll be pleased to know I have. It's silent now. That's it. So water bottles go in here. I will keep those like that. Tent will go in a roll on the front. That's set in stone. I'm not going to change that. So I've got a little bag. I tend to put my electrics in here just because I know where it all is then. It's good to have a routine. Try not to change it around too much, because when you're in the middle of nowhere in the dark, or you get to camp and you're tired, you want to automatically be able to go to where the kit is on your bike. So it's nice to sort of lay it out. Because I'm going to go through this, but I'm not going to change too much, just for that very reason. So you get used to where you put stuff. To be honest with you, I'm really refreshing my memory as to what I do with everything. I've just lost one of the bags. Where is it? Where's my... Oh, here it is. So this is what I put the tent in. This is the front roll bag. To me, this is the obvious place for a tent to go. This is the whole front. There's no on some bag systems now you have a holster system. They'll have an attachment on the front clamped to the frame, and then they have a holster, and then which will contain the dry bag with all your kit in it. But for me, I don't really want to take... What you don't want to do is to have to faff around too much. So I tend to put the whole thing. This is the whole thing for your front luggage. It's just one dry bag with fasteners on it. So you don't need any clamping system. You don't need any additional hardware on your bike. So it saves weight. This weighs just the weight of this with some straps, and this just stays on the bike. You don't take it off at all, and then you just open the end, pull your tent out, put your tent up, and when you finish at the end of the day, you just take your tent down, stuff it back in. So you haven't got to worry about trying to hold the bag while you stuff it in. It's just fixed to the bike. So to me that makes a lot of sense. Some bags now have got a roll top. Obviously if you've got computers or stuff on the top, you can't open the roll top because it's in the way. So for me that doesn't work. I sort of wanted to have that system, but it means you'd have to do away with this. Your computer would have to go somewhere else. I'm not quite sure what people do, but it would just be in the way. So I find, for me, this is the best system of all. This just basically a dry bag with straps. I'm pretty sure there are a few around. This is a Miss Great one, which you can't really get in the UK now. Very well made. I will look to see whether it's possible to get them, but we used to stock these, hence I've got them, because it tends to go, when you stock something in your shop, you tend to use it. But I'm really glad I did, because it's very, very strong and very well made. Made in Italy, but not a cheap brand, like I say. A lot of cheaper stuff came out, but now it's getting to where companies like, what's it called? Anyway, I'll put the name up on the screen. You'll know who it is. Make bags for everything, but they're not cheap. So I think people are starting to realise that cheap doesn't really pay off. So you're best buying something that's going to last. This is Miss Scrape as well. I've got quite a few things. I've got a rear bag, which will get used on another bike. I've got a plan for. This is more for if you're going to go racing, or you want speed over leisure. You put this on the back of your seat post, and away you go. Same sort of system. It's a dry bag clamped to the bike. So you just pull everything out and do what you want to do. That's Miss Grape. Then I've got two bags to go on the forks. Two of these, all Miss Grape. So basically I bought the kit, front, rear, holster, and two bags for the forks. So I've got all that kit. I've got no intention of getting rid of it. It'll get used at some point. I'll just stuff everything back in here, I think. So you seal one end up, and I'm going to stuff the tent back in. They come in these rather ornate bags, really well designed, but 9 times out of 10 you're not really going to use it because it's a lot slower to get it in because you've got to cram it in so tight. So what I use, because I'm a 3-season camper at the moment. I will be doing some cold weather stuff, but at the moment all I'm planning to do is 3-season. So this is a 3-season tent, as you've seen in my videos. This is a Big Agnes Copper Spur 2, super lightweight, 1.4 kilos. I've got a ground sheet for it as well, which goes underneath. I've got a couple of extra, I've got an extra pack of pegs, because no tent comes with enough pegs, it seems. So I bought some extra ones. So that'll go in. And what I'll do is I'll put it in as I want it to take it out. So the first thing you take out is your ground sheet. So that goes in last. Then you want your inner. So that goes in next. So if it was on the bike, you could see this would be very, very easy. The bag's held on the bike and you just put it in. Don't pack it too tight because you want to get the poles in. So what I'll do is put it in just in the bag, as it were, and then I'll put the poles in now, which means I can get the poles across the top inside. So because this isn't packed tight, you can push it along the top, like so, and push it to the end. And then you can start compressing the outer, so you've got room to put the inner. That's next to go in. Same principle. And you put ground sheet in, and then your pegs. And your pegs you can just stuff, because they'll want to come out quickly as well. So your ground sheet and your pegs go in last. And that's all I put in the front bag, nothing else. So that's basically my house in there. So that definitely works for me. Obviously everybody's got their own ways of doing things. Then what I tend to do is equal things out, because I cannot stand when things aren't balanced on the bike. It really does bug me. But yeah, that's ready to go on the bike now. So what I do on my bike is I've left my cables long. A lot of people will say, oh my God, look at the length of these cables. But what I'll do is I put that cable, where is it, which ones I do? Those 2 cables, so the gears and the dropper cable I push up, and then the brakes I push down, and I put the bag in between the 2. That works a treat. It doesn't trap anything, and then you can get in and out. Well, it stays there, to be honest, and then you can still turn without snagging anything and pulling things tight. I don't care what it looks like when the bike stuff's not on there. It just works when you're going bike packing. So if you have everything short, you tend to squash everything, and things don't tend to work so well. So I like to leave a bit of space. That's my tip anyway. So that'll get put in. I've got a specific a crate, that I keep my bags, all my bike packing bags in. So it's the only thing in here is bags. And I also put the tent in here. I'm not using it, so that should all fit in there. So that's ready to go now. So as soon as I get the urge to go, whip that tent out, stick it on the bike. Now the other things to think about, obviously, are the other end of the bike. Sleeping kit. I've got this dry bag, so I have been using this on the back to put my sleeping kit in there. So I put my sleeping bag, sleeping mat, liner. I've got a Nemo Tensor insulated sleeping mat. I've got a Reactor, Cedar Summit Thermalite fabric Reactor liner, sleeping bag liner. Quite important this, because in the summer you can actually get away with sleeping in just this and just keep you warm enough. But you need to wear this anyway, whatever you're doing. Put this on first, get into your sleeping bag, get into this. This stops your sleeping bag getting dirty and mucky. Just keeps it so in tip-top condition. So I haven't had to wash my sleeping bag yet. I've got a blow-up pillow. So I've got a couple. This one's got a bag over it, like a fluffy liner, which makes it a bit more comfortable on your skin. I also have a few of these. This is like an absorbent cloth, which is quite good for getting the condensation off your tent before you put it back in its bag. Little carry rucksack. These are really, really handy if you're going to call into a shop or somewhere. You can just take this, chuck stuff in it, and then you can just nip off like a mini rucksack. I also carry a retractable lock. Might sound a bit daft, but it's not. You can't really see it. So if you put your bike outside a cafe, or a grocer's or something, you're trying to get some food like a supermarket, put this round something, and it's not very well seen. So if somebody tries to take your bike, they'll be struggling for a while and they'll wonder what the hell's going on because they can't actually see it. So it'll slow them up, and by then you can probably realise what they're doing and stop them. But that's all you need really, a bit of security. And it's just, because you put a great big lock on it, it's really heavy. I mean, this weighs next to nothing. It's just really just a just in case type lock. It's not going to stop a determined burglar. First aid kit. I don't take this one with me. This is quite a big one. Not quite sure what it's in there for. I've got a different one that I use, which is a bit more portable. So the only things I need are that, and then the only other thing that's missing, of course, is the sleeping bag. Now I'll show you, rather than get them down, because I don't really want to get them down yet, because I don't really need to get them down. But I've got two. I've got a Nemo equipment, a Riff. It's down to -1. Men's long Nemo equipment sleeping bag. That's like it'll keep you warm till it starts to get chilly, if you know what I mean. I wouldn't go into the snow and stuff with it. And this is Sheila's. This goes down a little bit colder actually, but I don't think it's down. This was a OEX one from Go Outdoors, just in case we went hiking, and I would take that. So it's not really for bike packing, but that's my bike packing sleeping bag for the summer and a little bit of winter maybe. Then I got this ultra crazy thing, the Polar Ranger, goes down to -30 degrees, 800 fill. You get in it, you can actually just got armholes. You can sit up and wear it. So I'm keeping this for when I go to snow events. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but it costs so much money. This was nearly £1,000 new. It was sold as a demo. Someone had used it for a photo shoot, and it had just been sold on eBay for £450, I think, and I just snapped it up. Thermarest Polar Ranger. Haven't used it because I bought it for Fatbiking, which I never got to do. So that's the sleeping bag. That's the one I would take. It will shrink down pretty small. That's not compressed at the moment. So that's all your sleeping kit will go in that bag, and that sits on top of there. And then you've got these two bags, these two panniers for clothes, probably clothes mainly, things that are light and puffy and you want to get out reasonably quickly, maybe a rain jacket or an extra jacket. That gives you, and then this is obviously food and water. There's us toiletries and stuff like that. So that'll be food, water, and then that's just bits and bobs, everyday stuff. Pump and things you need to get at to in a hurry. So I put this is a Crank Brothers M20 multi-tool, and my little pump, which is a rocket race rocket. And then the extra thing was a little tool keg down there, but that can be moved, and I can put a container in. I've got water containers, which I've got loads of. I went a bit mad when I was first going bike packing. I went a bit berserk buying stuff, and I bought 3 of these clean canteens. These are the big 2-litre ones. So that's it for this little bit, but I just wanted to get my head around what kit I needed again, because I am going to be doing a video with someone. I'll probably go out on my own for the first one, but I'm going to go meet somebody to do a night out. So yeah, I just want to get my head around the kit. So I may have mentioned to you the other day about suspension forks and what my first proper experience with, or seeing the very first proper suspension forks, and it was a pair of these. These are the very first. Well, this is actually the second version. There was another version slightly earlier than this. I think this is about generation 2. Bomber, Marzocchi Bomber. This is what started it all off. As you can see, the legs, you can take the legs out of the crane. They've got a pinch bolt. So both legs can be taken out. You can undo the clamp on the front. So you can take the whole leg out, and you can service it a leg at a time. Take the stanchions out. You can do what you like with it. If the stanchion's damaged, you can replace it. It all comes to pieces. Best ever for, even the crane, even the steerer tube will come out. It's got a clamp bolt. Downside is they crack. This has got cracks in the where the bolt pinches the crane. It's got a crack both sides, but solve that problem. And this is, I love the modular way this fork is made. Obviously this is the days of V-brakes. It does have a mount. The very first one had 2 mounts. So it's got the, I think this is not international standard. This is the one before. I forget what it was now, but it's not the actual, the same standard bolt hole centres that we use now. This was early days. And I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, but I'm going to put, hang on. You hear the oil squeaking, sloshing around in the fork. So both of the legs are the same. They've got compression knobs. So that inside here is a spring oil. This whole leg is full of oil. And I think you dip, it's about 70 mil from the top, I seem to remember. And both legs are the same. Both have got oil in. They've got proper oil seals in here. So you've got a dust seal. Under that there's an oil seal. So it just retains the oil. And inside the blue knob there's another little knob which is your rebound, and it's really effective. Both are the same, so you adjust your rebound. And brilliant forks, so simple, but of course they were too simple. They love to make things more and more and more complicated, but they were the best forks that ever came out, I think. So I love simple. The other really good thing that came out was when Fox did the vanilla RC. So that's a rear shock, which was a spring and a rebound and compression damper adjuster. That's it. Great shock. Simple, worked. But now you have to have all singing, all dancing, 25 knobs of adjustment, AI, electronic switches, and blah, 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 blah. But for the average person, I just don't see why you need it. But anyway, it's all to do with selling stuff. But yeah, rather than be negative, fantastic fork. So this one's been in our shop. I've rescued it from the shop the other day because I thought it'd be nice to have it in here and put it up there as a bit of a memento of days gone past. Great forks. Yeah, they sort of kicked everything off. Before that it was all elastomers. Right, I just thought I'd show you that. Okay. Time for another ride on the bicycle. Not sure where I'm going to go today. I'm going to have a look around. I saw some fallen trees on a trail. Sorry, you can't see me. Hello. I saw some fallen trees on a trail, so I might go and have a look. I've got my saw with me, so I'm going to go and have a look and see if anything needs clearing. Put this in my pocket. Sorry, I just put the drone in my pocket. On this beast again today. Okay, I'll catch you in a bit. It's always good to push it just a little bit, so I'm going to go up Watery Lane. Whether I get to the top, we'll see. It's quite a toughie. But I don't know what it's like. It has had a lot of rain since the last time I was up here, so we'll see how much it's been ripped out by the water. It's called Watery Lane for a reason. Look at it. Let's pour it. That's coming out of a garden. So that's Watery Lane climb. Doesn't look so bad. Keep still, Graham. Doesn't look so bad when you see it on a graph like that, but it's off-road, that's the difference. It's not a road climb. God, look at it. It's definitely been altered slightly by the water. When you Wahoo, when it detects a climb, it automatically starts a timer. I've never noticed that before. Oh, look at it. This was smooth gravel the last time I come up. It's more like I remember it before it was at the surface. I've got my heart rate strap on, and it's, I don't know if you can see that, but it's 135. It isn't bad really. I'm halfway up Watery Lane. I know I haven't got the steep bit yet, but 135, I'm pleased with that. Anyway, let's see what happens now, because it gets steep now. Try and keep that heart rate down. This new Wahoo's got a colour by the heart rate, tells you what zone you're in. I'm not in zone 2. 157 it got to, I think. So far. Right, this is the test. Up to the road. Haven't stopped yet. Oh, I'm pleased with that. Very. I'm quite surprised. Barring strength, my fitness doesn't seem to have gone at all. So the next test is distance. So today is still going to be a short ride. It's time I started upping the distance a bit. Probably going to be about another 10 miler today, we'll see. Right, there we go. That's to the top, straight up. And that is, come on, 988 feet to the top. Oh, we have a new sign. What this is all about. Seen that before. Attention, mountain bikers. Oh, down the side. Please help us maintain site by keeping to permitted routes only. Do not crisscross between trails to avoid unnecessary damage. Spread out to avoid congestion and pushing other riders off track. Do not build or introduce any new trails on this site. So basically the same as it's always been. So I'm at the top of the Cotswold Way. And the woods is the start of a downhill track there, which I guess will be restricted to... I built a trail in there called the Wall Trail years ago, and it's obviously, like every trail, it gets expanded and changed and added to, and people have added stuff off the side of the hill. I think that's what they're complaining about. If we just stick up the top and not go down the side, we'll be fine. So what we don't want to do is get banned. So I'll have to start spreading the word. Right, I'm going to continue. I'm going to do as much as I can because I've got to be a bit wary that the sun's going down and I haven't got any lights. So I think I'm going to do a bit of a loop to the top and then down. Oh, bit of a obstacle. Let's go around the obstacle. I brought my saw with me, but I was going to handle that. Oh, my front tire's going down. Damn it, what's going on? Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. I haven't tightened the valve up. Let's get some air in this, let's have a listen. The problem when you go tubeless is the valves clog up. I think that's what's happened with this one, because it I couldn't get any air out of it earlier because I went to let a bit out, and I think it was letting some out, but then when I tried to do it up, it didn't tighten up properly, so it's been slowly letting air out all the way around. Now the problem's going to be getting air in, hopefully, which will go in with this pump. Yeah, there's new valve cores out now with a bigger bore. I think I mentioned this the other day in the last video, or maybe earlier in this video. I've got to get some because it means air can get in and out and it doesn't clog as easily. The valve doesn't clog as easily. I think it's just it's a core you put in your existing valve. That's probably enough. Right, it's going to make sure it tightens up. It doesn't leak. Yeah, that'll do. I do the squidge test. So one thing you should always remember to do is bring a pump. Always carry a pump. Without fail. That will do. Right, let's give it a go. To see if it can follow me down here. It's quite a fast trail, so I may lose it, so we'll see. I might just have to take it steady. That's the trouble when you do videos like this. It looks slow because you can't go fast with a drone. You have to take your time, which is a bit annoying really, because it looks like I'm pottering along, which I am, I suppose. The only way is to station the drone somewhere and then ride past it. Come on, pick me up. Connection made. Should get a picture in a minute. There you go. There's a tree in the way anyway. Mate, stop hitting the trees. I can hear it. It's not going to get through here. So I think we'll call it a day. Right, let's get home before it gets dark. Oh, another one. Blimey. There are some trees down. Grief. Oh, another one. Oh, another one. Blimey. Right, I'm going to have to end it here because the road's just there. So there we go, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Next week, got more varied stuff coming. Get out for more riding, and also got do some work on a turbo trainer. I've got some other ideas as well, which coming in maybe next week or maybe the week after. But if you don't want to miss out, obviously subscribe. Hope you have a fantastic week. I hope it stays dry and things dry up a bit, but I'm sure it will sometime. Okay, as I say, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next week.